So for the first time in a modular building, we're including figures with much more detailed faces than we've ever done before. Traditionally, we've used the classic smiley face with just the 2 dots and the smile, but for this building, we really wanted to play up the characters that we've included. So we felt that faces with a little bit more expression would really make this whole building and story come to life. So if you look at our cast of characters, we have the chef or the cook for the diner. We have the waitress on her roller skates. We have the boxer who's training for his next big match, and we have his training partner. Then we also have our new rock star here, and what's really cool about him is he actually has a face with printing on both sides. So on one side, we just see his kind of cool grin, but actually when you turn his head around, you'll see he has a really fun singing expression for when he's recording his next hit song. And lastly, we've included his manager. She actually serves not only as a manager, we also kind of see her as the sound engineer, or maybe just as well someone that's visiting the restaurant or the diner down below.
Cool, so good. It is long. I mean, I think it's the one there. I think the one with the manager and the double up with the sound engineer, is that important for you guys as well? It's just kind of, it just seems to be...
It's just too much.
It's just too. It seems to be too much for me, but... obviously, if you guys have thought about it.
But maybe that was the idea, is that she's the sound engineer / manager.
Yeah, so maybe we'll start with the sound engineer, and then, obviously, if you could swap around, so start with sound engineer.
Should I just say she's the sound engineer then? Right?
I think it's fine, because I think, once you're talking about the actual booth itself, then I think it's great to say the sound engineer as well. I think it's great that it's a female, so I think it's good.
Yeah. Okay.
Are we good to go? Is it okay?
Yeah, go ahead.
So the minifigures.
Yep. So for the first time in a modular building, we've decided to go... let me start again. So in all of our past modular buildings, we've used the classic smiley face, just the 2 dots and the smile. And for the first time in the series, we've decided to include much more expressive faces. We really wanted to play up the emotion and the stories in this model, so we felt that giving our figures a little bit more expression could really help with that. So we've included in this model...
I know it's a long...
I just gotta stop and then go into listing them. Yeah.
It's no problem. So we'll start again.
So for the first time in a modular... Let me start one more time.
Yes.
Up until now in the modular buildings, we've always used the classic smiley face. That's the 2 dots and the smile, the one that you may remember from far back in the company's history. But for the diner, we really wanted to play up the characters in this model and really connect with the story that we're trying to tell. So we thought it was time to switch over to using more expressive faces than we've ever used in the past in this series. So in this model, we have the cook who's working in the diner. We have the waitress on her roller skates. We have the boxer training hard in his gym. We have his training partner, and you can see she's sweating a bit from all the hard work she's doing. And then, of course, we have our rock star, and he actually has a really cool new face in that on one side he has his kind of signature smirk, but if you turn his head around, you'll see he's actually in the middle of recording his new hit single. So that's a really fun thing that we can add when we add these new faces. And of course, we have the sound engineer, and she's the one working behind the scenes to make sure this guy is sounding really amazing every time he's recording.
Cool. I think that's really good. I think you got everything there as well. So that's brilliant. I think it's good. Are you happy with that one as well?
Yeah, I think that was good.
You listed everything here as well, so I think it's good. So the next one would be the most difficult, challenging part of the model to solve, and why.
I don't remember what I said.
How to make this building fit well into the current street. The current street, I think you talked about it earlier on. The current street is very old world, and we wanted to add something with a modern flair. So we needed to find a way to mix the old and new in one building.
Okay. Yeah.
That's fine. That's a short answer. It doesn't have to be long. So the most challenging part of the model.
The most challenging part of this model was making this new Art Deco style building fit into our existing street. Our existing street has a very old world classic feel, and we wanted to make sure that this new model would still fit nicely while offering a new architectural style.
Cool. One more time, I think it's really cool.
Yep. Should I say how we did that? Should I talk about how it's the old building and the new building combined, or should I just say that?
I think you should just say it because I think
because it's obvious.
It's obvious.
Okay.
Short and sweet. I think there's some longer answers and some shorter ones.
Okay.
As well. So that's cool. So the most challenging part of the building.
The most challenging part of making this model was finding a way to fit this very new Art Deco style building into our existing old world street. Is it okay to just say that?
Yeah, that's good. So I have the 2 versions of that one as well. You just want it one more time just to say this one.
What did I feel like I said more the first time, but I don't remember what I said.
I think it was just a way to mix the old and new in one building. You talked about that one before.
Yeah.
Okay, that's one now. Country's very old world. I've got that one in there. And the modern flair.
Yeah.
So I think it's just the 2 different types of architecture. Just go again and see. Yeah.
So the biggest challenge in developing this model was finding a way to make this very new Art Deco style building fit into our existing street. Our existing street has a very old world feel, and we wanted to make sure that when we put this model that has a very new architectural style into the middle of that street, it feels like it's at home.
Cool. We'll go with that one. I think it's really, really good. Super. The next question was, what part of the model are you especially proud of as a Lego designer? So different building techniques, and I think you said something, this is where you talk about the spiral staircase at the back, the fun geometry, and the big diner sign at the front as well, and the windows on the side.
Yeah, so is it okay that it's just like a really little thing?
Yeah.
And that, all right, because it's the windows. There's the windows on the side. Trying to think how best to describe that. If I just say the windows on the side of the building, and then I just say like the way that they're built by flipping stuff upside down to achieve a really small offset.
So what are you especially proud of?
I'm especially proud of the way that we managed to achieve the look of the windows that are on the side of the building. We actually managed to build some sections upside down and then slot those into the model so that we can achieve a really small offset that just gives a really nice detail on the side of the building.
Why not do one for the spiral staircase as well? I think it's great to have these really small bites of different information as well. So could you tell us about the spiral staircase?
One of my favorite parts of the model is actually in the back of the model. We wanted to come up with a fun way to get between the floors, and so we actually built a really cool spiral staircase that uses some classic pieces like the 1x4 lattice fence piece to make this really nice spiral, and the way that the geometry all comes together to make a solid construction was really fun to figure out.
What did I?
My bad. Can you
see it? Click the box button. I think it's really good as well.
Yeah.
And that's short and sweet. It's cool. Yeah. So especially proud of as a Lego designer.
I'm also especially proud of one of the details that's behind the building. We wanted to come up with a fun way to get from one floor to the next, and we came up with one of the parts of the model that I'm especially proud of is actually in the back of the building. You can see there's actually this really cool spiral staircase that goes between floors, and we used some lattice fences and a Technic pin going through the center of them to create a really cool geometry that comes together in a very unexpected way to create something that's really new for the modular buildings. And it's really cool, I think, that that's even something so new as that is hidden in the back of the model.
Sure. Should we do one for the diner as well, the diner sign?
Yep.
So especially proud of?
I'm especially proud of the sign that we built for the diner that actually says diner, but it's built in a really fun way where everything is turned sideways so that we kind of come up with a brand new font that we haven't seen before on the street. And I think it really makes this model stand out, and it really calls people to come in and take a look at what's going on.
Do you want to do one more time? That was great. Just one more time. That's cool.
I'm especially proud of how we were able to build the sign for the diner. If you look closely, it's a combination of stacking and building sideways and using different bow shapes to come up with a really unique font that I think really calls attention to this diner on the street.
Super, cool. The last one we have for this one is there any new building methods or elements in the final model? And I know we have to be a bit careful about what elements we discuss here in our show, but is there anything else you talk about reintroducing the color, which I think is always an interesting part from as well?
I think that one is that's the main one that we should say, because that's, I just need to be careful about how I say it, because it's technically not us that is reintroducing it, but we're the first ones to use it. So
you can just say something like seize the reintroduction of the
well, I just want to say like we're excited to introduce it, because who is we?
Exactly. That's a big we. So any new building methods or elements?
One thing that we're really excited about that's new for this model, or maybe it's not new. Maybe some of you have seen it before for those with sharper eyes, but we're reintroducing one of our favorite Lego colors from the past, and that's called teal. That sounds dumb to say it like that.
You have the number here, the color 107.
Yeah, I should say that first, right? Because then anyone that's really sharp will know, and then I'll say that it's teal. One thing that I'm really excited to bring back in this... No, that's not right. One thing that I'm really excited to introduce in this model is actually bringing back one of our classic Lego colors. We call it 107, but maybe that's a little bit too extreme, and we actually refer to it as teal when we're talking about it a little.
Yeah,
I should have thought through the wording of this a bit better.
Yeah, that's fine. We can work it through.
Something I'm really excited to introduce in this model is actually a reintroduction of one of our favorite Lego colors. We could call it 107, but I think it makes a lot more sense to just refer to it as teal. And we've used this color throughout the model to really give it that fresh 1950s feel. We've used it in the walls of the diner, and then we've even used it all the way around the facade of the building. And we've introduced so many new shapes in this color that I think is just going to get people really excited to get their hands on it and not only build this model, but then also take those pieces and really start to explore what they can do with it.
You mentioned something here about the new face, but is that the one for the models, for the minifigures as well?
Yeah, I already said that. With
a new record as well.
Yeah, it's just a print on something, so I don't know.
Okay,
I feel like if we really stick with the color thing, I think that'll get people.
Well, that's good. How are we doing for time on this one here? Because we have you for an hour and we still have to get through the James Bond.